So there is a housing crisis that nobody really wants to admit right now. So imagine this. Imagine that the mortgage payment on a roughly $413,000 house can land around $2,000 to $2,500 a month in principal and interest, current rates, and depending on the down payment, of course. And that is the friendly number wearing the nice shirt. But that number, it does not show you the actual down payment. It doesn't show you the closing costs. It doesn't show you what happens when property taxes move or the air conditioner dies at the worst possible moment. And this is supposed to be the responsible adult's decision that everybody's supposed to make, like hypothetically the safe one, the thing that builds your future on a normal salary. But now the normal paycheck is competing against buyers who already have equity, savings, or family money behind them. And you look at the numbers and you think, wait, I was told that all of this is normal. Now, Rocket Mortgage, they calculated that the median income household in New York City would need about 65 years to save the typical down payment if it saved 5% of its income every year. Now, that's not a savings plan. That's a retirement plan for the house itself. It's like the market looked at your paycheck and said, you know what? Sure, you can have the house after you finish raising it. Now, early generations entered a market where prices and incomes were much closer together. Not everyone was allowed through that door, but for many households that did get access or one steady income had a far better chance of carrying that price. But that era seems to have ended here, and we keep the exception anyway. Now, Harvard's Joint Center for Housing Studies documented how badly housing prices and borrowing costs have shut buyers out in 2026. That's the housing report that they came up with. But when income no longer covers the entirety of the price, the advantage shifts to buyers with equity, savings, or family money. Home ownership, it starts behaving less like something you earn and more like something you actually inherit. Now, that lands like a plot twist nobody really asked for, because the payment, it didn't disappear. It just put on a fake mustache and came back as taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities, energy, internet, and whatever other costs you can come up with. Now, Bankrate right now, they estimate those costs beyond mortgage, principal, and interest at $21,400 a year on average. That's another $1,783 a month on top of the mortgage. Now, the escrow letter, it shows up like a surprise party you didn't really plan. And the property tax bill, it says, I live here too. So the insurance renewal brings friends. And that's what's so problematic, because now you bring the water heater that will enter the room with confidence of somebody you know or who knows you can't block its number. And the lower payment is a treadmill with cup holders. And it looks friendlier at first, but you're still running in the same place. And that math, it's shifting hard, because in 2019, or since 2019, home prices climbed 53%, but the median household income only rose 24%. So the house took the elevator, the paycheck, got used to the stairs, and now the median home costs about 5 times the median household income. Now, back in the 1990s, it was closer to 3.2. A home around 3 times household income was once much more common benchmark to try to achieve. But today's buyers is being asked to stretch it far beyond that. Now, the NAHB estimates that 65% of U.S. households cannot afford the median price new home of about $413,000 under the standard assumptions. And first-time buyers dropped to just 21% of purchases. So the median age hit a record 40 years old. And that's not homeownership arriving a little bit late. That's the American dream stuck in traffic for an extra decade. And here's where the real divide shows up, because 2 buyers can earn similar salaries and still be living in completely different housing markets. One has $100,000 in equity from selling a previous home. The other has $12,000 saved, a retirement account they don't want to raid, and parents who keep saying, you know what, have you tried offering less? And one is converting wealth into more wealth, but the other is trying to build it from zero while paying full admission at the door. And this advantage, it shows up before anybody receives the actual keys to any house. Now, older buyers often arrive with proceeds from a house they already sold, and younger buyers are more likely to arrive with savings and sometimes help from relatives. Now, NAR found that 26% of younger millennial buyers received down payment assistance as a gift or a loan from a friend or family member. Now, that doesn't mean they didn't work for the house. It just means the work was no longer the only qualification. The paycheck had to bring a teammate, and that teammate might be family money, it might be existing equity, it might be several years of free or reduced rent while living at home. It might be somebody else covering the closing costs so the buyer can keep an emergency fund. And those differences do not appear in the listing price. But they decide who can make the offer, who can survive the inspection, and who still has money when the house introduces itself properly. Because every house eventually does. I mean, the roof clears its throat, the insurance company discovers a new risk, and the property tax assessment remembers your address. The lender approved the payment, but nobody approved everything that could happen around it. And that's the number buyers rarely see on a listing page. What is left after the purchase price then? Well, because two households, they can make the same mortgage payment and still have completely different levels of safety. One closes with 6 months of expenses in the bank, and the other closes with $800, a credit card, and a home inspector who said the roof should have had just a few years left. And you're thinking to yourself, should? I mean, that's a very expensive word when you just handed over your savings. I mean, the monthly payment might be identical, but one buyer owns the house with breathing room, and the other buyer owns the house on the condition that the house remains perfectly behaved. And houses are many things, but perfectly behaved is certainly not one of them. Now, the market is forcing many buyers to widen the map. And for many, the choice becomes change the timeline, or change the house, or change the location until the numbers finally line up. In parts of the Midwest and South, the same analysis found down payment timelines closer to 3 or 4 years, not 65. But moving does not erase that second bill. It only changes the admission price. And you see people doing it right now. You see people doing it on their own, and you feel proud of them. But you also see the ones who are stretched, and the lender that still receives the mortgage. The private mortgage insurer, they still receive the premium when the down payment stays small. And the homeowner insurance carriers, they still get paid. And local governments, they collect the property taxes. So the buyer is the only one expected to absorb every increase at once.